One list just wasn't enough to cover all the epic mentor versus student fights. So here we are with part 2. If you missed the first round, don't worry, the link is in the description. Now get ready for more unforgettable battles and powerful bonds. Let's jump right in. Let's dive into the fiery world of Black Clover, where no matter how hard Asta trains, it seems like it's never enough. Asta's the kind of guy who believes that with enough grit and determination, he can beat magic users in battle, even without magic. And Mereoleona Vermilion, the magic knight captain with a fiery temper and a love for tough love, pushing anyone and everyone to their absolute limits. During one intense training session, Asta decides to turn things up a notch and enters his Black Asta mode, a form that's supposed to be a real game changer. But the moment Mereoleona senses his newfound power, she locks in on him like a hawk hunting prey. In true Mereoleona style, she immediately pulls him toward her, lands a brutal punch, and sends him flying. It might have been safer if he had landed in a lava pit than facing her wrath. This scene shows that even with his impressive progress, Asta still has a ways to go if he wants to match Mereoleona's unstoppable force. Next on the list, we've got Hakuro the Wise versus Gabta, Yam, and Grucius. Think of Hakuro as the Yoda of the group, but instead of wielding a lightsaber, he's got a sword that could slice through almost anything with just a flick of his wrist. Then there's Gabta, the hilarious goblin with a heart of gold and a serious knack for finding himself in, let's say, interesting situations. He may not have the combat skills of a true warrior, but Gabta's spirit and determination make him unforgettable. Joining the lineup is Yam, the brave knight type full of courage and confidence, and Grucius, the muscular, loyal fighter who's got both strength and heart. But when these three decide to test their skills against their legendary mentor, let's just say things don't exactly go as planned. Hakuro's abilities are on such a different level that none of them even had a chance to move before they were completely outclassed. One moment they're standing tall, the next they're on the ground, left with swollen faces and an even deeper respect for their mentor's power. Next up, we have Rin and Shura from Blue Exorcist, a duo whose clashing personalities make their fights even more exciting to watch. Rin is hot-headed and impulsive, someone who can go from zero to demon mode in seconds. Then there's Shura, the no-nonsense exorcist with a sharp sword and an even sharper tongue. Her laid-back but fearless style is the perfect counterbalance to Rin's fiery intensity. When these two face off, it's a wild chase. Shura turns the battle into a game of catch me if you can, making it almost impossible for Rin to land a hit. Some fans might even call it a mismatch, with Rin relying on his raw demon powers while Shura wields her sword, a weapon she casually pulls from her own chest like it's not a big deal. But hey, Shura's practically overpowered, and that's what makes this fight so fun to watch. The animation really kicks things up a notch too, with quick, fluid movements that make it hard to keep up with their clash. A refreshing student-mentor face-off that leaves you wanting for more. Next up, we're diving into one of the most intense mentor-student dynamics in Kengan Ashura, Oma Tokita versus his mentor, Nico. Oma is the definition of a pure fighter, always pushing himself to the limit. Then we have Nico, the eccentric powerhouse known for his unpredictability and borderline crazy training methods. Their sessions? They're anything but normal. In these brutal training sessions, Nico doesn't go easy. He throws Oma to the ground, leaving him bloody and exhausted, only to tell him to get up and keep going. Day after day, he shows Oma just how unforgiving the life of a true fighter can be. They spar on rough terrain, hunt for food, and push their limits with extreme training. It's unscientific, dangerous, and completely relentless, but in the end, it works. Oma finally learns the techniques Nico is trying to teach him, gaining newfound respect for his mentor and understanding just how far he's come. Next up, we're looking at one of the most intense battles in Hunter x Hunter, the showdown between Gon and Killua versus Knuckle. Now, Knuckle's not your average fighter. He's a tall, tough guy with a laid-back vibe. But don't let that fool you, he's packing some seriously unique nin abilities. His technique lets him deliver a deadly blow and keep tabs on his opponent's aura, making him a huge challenge for Gon and Killua. Facing Knuckle, it's clear the two are outmatched. He dodges their attacks effortlessly, showing just how much they still have to learn. But here's the real highlight of the show: Hunter x Hunter isn't afraid to hold back on plot armor. Gon and Killua don't get any easy wins here. Their struggles, growth, and losses make their journey feel authentic, reminding us just how vast the gap can be between even the most promising rookies and an experienced fighter like Knuckle. If you're looking for something that's both wholesome and a little dark, Wandering Witch: The Journey of Elena is a perfect pick. The characters are incredibly well crafted, especially the relationship between Elena and her mentor, Fran. Their bond goes beyond the typical teacher-student dynamic, and one of the most memorable moments in the series is when Elena actually fights Fran. This isn't your traditional training arc. Elena is a prodigy, and she knows it. But Fran? She wants Elena to learn a little humility. So during their duel, Fran doesn't hold back, and her tough love approach makes it clear that this anime isn't just a feel-good adventure. Their magical battle? Absolutely stunning. The animation here is top-notch, with dazzling spells and effects that go beyond what you'd expect in a duel. The fire scenes alone are so breathtaking, they might just leave you spellbound. In the world of One Piece, Rayleigh is the ultimate mentor for Luffy, guiding him through the ways of Haki and transforming him into the powerful pirate we see today. But when Luffy showed off his Gear 4th Boundman form, Rayleigh wasn't impressed. He just watched calmly, telling Luffy he'd need way more to reach his full potential. And then, they sparred. Here we have 78-year-old Rayleigh facing off against the super-boosted Gear 4th Luffy, dodging every single attack like it's nothing. It makes you wonder just what Rayleigh would have been capable of in his prime. Meanwhile, Luffy's going all out, showing off his raw power, but Rayleigh's having none of it. He knows that even with Gear 4th, Luffy's still got a long way to go if he wants to be the Pirate King. And then, in classic Rayleigh style, he casually punches Luffy, knocking him out without even using Haki. That's the power of a true teacher, one who not only brings out the best in his students but shows them just how far they still have to go. Let's dive into one of the most powerful mentor-student relationships in Dragon Ball: Gohan and Piccolo. Their bond goes way beyond the usual training routine. Piccolo's mix of tough love and relentless training turned Gohan into a fighter with potential far beyond what he could see in himself. They share enough heartwarming moments to make you forget Piccolo once tried to destroy Earth. Even when Gohan grew up, Piccolo still saw his role as pushing Gohan to be his absolute best, and it's a good thing too. Because when the universe is on the line, just good isn't enough, only the best can survive. Piccolo knew that, while he'd been training all these years, Gohan had been busy with his studies, so he knew it was his job to bring Gohan back to his true strength. And it paid off. Thanks to Piccolo's training, Gohan tapped into new power, even managing to split the heavens. But it's not over. Piccolo isn't done pushing Gohan, and Gohan knows that no one can help him unlock his true potential quite like Piccolo. If there's one old man who stands out as an absolute badass in the entire anime universe, it's got to be Yamamoto from Bleach. As the captain commander of the Gati 13, he embodies the phrase, "Don't mess with me." His Zanpakuto, Ryujinjaka, isn't just any sword, it's a walking inferno that can transform any battlefield into a sea of flames. When Yamamoto steps onto the scene, even his fiercest enemies would rather sit down for a discussion than face him in battle. Just take a look at Kiraku and Okitaki's expressions. They know they're in deep trouble, and the dread on their faces is priceless. Old Man Yama is not the kind of guy to play games. He's a serious force to be reckoned with. So if you ever find yourself in the Soul Society and meet Yamamoto, remember this: you're not just dealing with a grandpa, you're up against an unstoppable force of nature capable of turning the very air around him into a blazing inferno. Just hope he's in a good mood. The iconic Saitama versus Genos showdown. This fight is unforgettable and has a special place in the heart of every One Punch Man fan. Saitama, the ultimate overpower guy, ends up training our determined and relentless cyborg, Genos. Genos is so eager to become as strong as his mentor that he pesters Saitama endlessly until Saitama finally agrees to train him. Once they step into the training arena, Genos goes all out. He powers up, reveals his weapons, and unleashes a full-on barrage of attacks that would take down almost any opponent. But Saitama, not even fazed. Genos is throwing everything he's got, yet Saitama's as calm as ever. Finally, when Saitama's had enough, he decides to show Genos what real power looks like. With a single punch, he sends a shockwave so intense that it leaves Genos in stunned silence. But Saitama didn't actually hit him, he just wanted Genos to feel the sheer power he's capable of, enough to make even a hardened cyborg tremble. It's visually one of the most stunning mentor-student fights out there, and a perfect mix of humor, action, and jaw-dropping visuals that we'll always remember. And with that, we're wrapping up Volume 2 of the best students versus mentor moments in anime. These epic battles and heartfelt exchanges are truly special, and we know there are plenty of unforgettable moments we might have missed. If you haven't seen it yet, be sure to check out Part 1 for even more amazing fights. We want to hear from you too. Drop your favorite student mentor moments in the comments below. What do you think should have made the list? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more anime content, and we'll see you next time.